Welcome to Pagan Crafting. I'm your host, Kara. Today we're going to look at everything lilac. For the magical and healing properties, we're going to make moonwater perfume, honey, tea, oil, and salve. This delicate flower has a small window of opportunity in springtime for you to harvest it and collect it. Let us explore the magical properties of the lilac. The beautiful lilac is one of the loveliest tokens of spring. Blooming lilac shows up for a short period during spring, typically between Beltane and Litha from May to June. Much like dandelions or honeysuckle, the lilac contains spring energy that helps jumpstart your life. Use it to give yourself a motivational boost and a mental or physical spring cleaning, or use it as an energy charge for your job or a new business venture. Originally, lilacs were planted to repel evil, planted near the entryway. Lilacs were believed to send out protective vibrations when flowers are cut and brought into the home. They cleanse any living space. They will also remove the unwanted spiritual presence. The lilac tree is a fragrant tree that is considered magical. The fragrance is believed to carry humans to fairyland and to the supernatural world. English tradition considers a lilac to be an unlucky flower to be brought into the house because it's associated with death. This was perhaps the fear of the power of the fragrance of the lilac. The white lilac were used in coffins to help mask the smell of death, and with it was used much like gladiolas and other common funeral flowers, hence why it became unlucky. The lilac flower is a favorite of forest nymphs where they are surely Pan is close. Lilac is sacred to the twins of Gemini. The magical properties of lilac are good in magical dealings with romance, love, passion, superb when utilizing magics for the realm of the intellect, communication, mental concentration, enhances sexual pleasure as well. The logic provides protection during travel period and dealing with illusion magic. The wood is very adequate as with the divining arts. Since lilacs are ruled by Venus, they are often used in love spells. Try placing some pink lilacs on your altar while performing a love spell. The dried flowers make a powerful addition to any love sachet. In spell work, while lilac is commonly used for spells involving exorcism, banishing negative energy, love, and lust, as well as protection spells symbolizing the balance between life and death. Lilac is used for spell work when you are looking for a short fling, using spells with flirtation as desired without the goal of a long-term or serious relationship. The lilac keeps things light and uncomplicated. Mix lilac flowers infused with hazel or facial toner, as it can be used to promote a beauty, glamour, magic, and attracting love. You can spray the oils in a room as an air freshener will lighten the mood for party guests. Lilac placed in the home will, yes, get rid of evil spirits, but also shamans use lilac sticks to also in their workings to help get rid of evil spirits out of people. The symbolism of color of the lilac the meanings are so many, from the white to the violet to the blue, magenta, and the color it was named from. Lilacs are edible, mixed with soft cheeses to frozen yogurt, sweet garnishes, dishes, cakes, pies, tarts, cookies, honey pudding, and drinks. I am making a lilac tea here, and it's a lovely soothing drink that can aid in my digestion. And as many report that a cup of tea is calming to relax a stomach. It also possible that lilac flowers are good for eyesight and eyes. I'm unsure of that, but I read that somewhere and through some of my research. Now what I have here is my plant grimoire. I have started a journey here this springtime that I plan to do for every plant that I collect and make something for mostly this channel, but I do have my own personal plant grimoire I'm working on too. So everything I'm going to be using, I'm going to share with you and share my journey along the way. If you want to share my journey along the way, I've designed these sheets where you can print out a digital download if you like. You can go to my Etsy store, check it out. You can download it from there, or if you're a Patreon member, you'll have an automatic download of this sheet coming up too. I also have a crystal grimoire for my Patreons and my Etsy customers as well. So starting off, I like to just lay down the date here. The common name is lilac. The folk name here is also just as common lilac. The botanical Syringa vulgaris. Woo! I think I pronounced it. It's ruled by the planet Venus. The element is water. The gender is feminine. Deities are Artemis, Pan, Gaia, Hades, Persephone, Hera, and also with the Hades, Persephone, and Hera, they're ruled by the white lilacs only. The zodiac, I haven't filled out, but I figured out later it was Libra. Location, planting zones are anywhere from about 3 to 9, but they say about 5 to 7 is where they really usually like to be. The season is May to June, and it has a 2 to 3 week period. Sometimes I noticed last year we had 6 weeks of blossoms. We had so much sun. This year we had a week and a half and they were gone. Moon phase anytime. So I like drawing in the flower, the leaf. Sometimes I'll draw a very detailed leaf to help me identify it, but I'm really sure with the lilac that I can identify it with the flowers. So I just drew the flower itself, a very delicate, very easy leaves I threw down there. I didn't draw the roots because it's more of a tree and I can't get in there, so I'd have to look that up online. I put a little note at the bottom. It's good for love, protection, spells, exorcism, glamour, magic, that kind of fun stuff. I filled out the magical properties, the healing medicinal properties, observations, cautions, and notes. So the magical properties, I did kind of with what you and I just went over, but I also put that fresh flowers can be placed in a haunted house to help clear it. And using a stick for a wand and a shaman will help absorb bad energy from a person's body. So I added that there. The lilac flowers can be infused with a carrier oil like almond, avocado, or witch hazel. It can be used for acne, fine lines, wrinkles, and other anti-aging properties. Some of the observations I find that you may have a small window of opportunity to collect the flowers. So dehydrator, when I'm using this one here, it's at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I did lay down 4 hours. I thought I'd do the lightest setting, the longest time, and actually it only took an hour. So it didn't take too long at all. So adding my flowers through each level of my dehydrator now. I put it on, depending on your dehydrator, what you'd like to use, put it on the lightest setting. The flowers will go brown or they'll just disintegrate and you'll just smell like burnt cookies actually if you have it on too high. I should have had a little bit of a cover, but they all fell to the next level, which is fine. This is what it looks like after only an hour. I was surprised. Like you notice, I set it at 4 hours, but it only took an hour. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can take the flowers on paper towel, lay out a line of paper towel and put your flowers on the paper towel, and then roll it up. Wait 2 to 3 days and they will be dried right out for you. This is a comparison between the fresh flowers and the dried flowers. And these are all ready and set to go. Now you could use fresh flowers, fresh lilac flowers in your oil infusion, but you will only have anywhere between 7 to 10 days. You could work with a fresh ingredient like this particular flower, or else it can go rancid in your oil. So using the dried infusion oil is wicked to use. You do that for 2-3 weeks if you wanted to, and then strain it out. Your oils are amazing. You can anoint with them. You can anoint your candles with them. You can cook with it, infuse your cooking. Oh my goodness, there's so many uses of oils. Now what I like to do is add the oil to just 1 inch above whatever herb you're using. Now the flowers are going to float, so it's 1 inch below. I'm going to stir it up. It's going to rehydrate some of them, so I will have to add some more oil. Now you can infuse the oil just like this. You can have it as is, and it can take you, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks, and you can strain it out and use, or you can use a quick method, a stove method, which we're going to do here today because I'm excited to use this right away for my salve and my perfume. I am using sunflower oil, and it's ruled by the sun, and the element is fire. Sunflower oil makes a great carrier oil for blends that deal with protection, fertility, health, and wisdom. Heading over to my stove here, we are going to do, this is what it's been boiled down a little bit, so it looks like it's a hard boil, but I have it on a soft medium boil. I did that for about 3.5 hours. While we're waiting for that, while we're waiting for our 3 hours, it's usually just 3 hours, but you got to keep topping up the water, then it's got to kind of heat up again, so I just added an extra half an hour onto it. While that's boiling, infusing, having a good time, we're going to make some honey here. Simple as this. Now if you do it in layers, if you put some flowers down first, then a bit of honey, then flowers, and a bit of honey, you're not going to have the air bubbles and gaps to deal with. Now I'm using fresh flowers here, not the dried, because I'm only going to be doing this for a few days. Started out on May 23rd, and I finished it on, I think it was in June. So keep building up your layers from your flowers and your honey, and it will help when you go to mix the honey and the flowers together. I'm using about 2/3 of a jar of flowers. And just a gentle mix. I'm gonna add, just squishing it down so I can add more honey in there. And I'm just using a good liquid Canadian honey. You could use whatever kind that you like, whatever kind of flavor, but more of the liquid honey is going to be better. Oh, it is so beautiful. I actually took a spoonful off camera and just ate it like that too. It was so tasty. Just on a piece of bread is what we're going to do after this. I'm going to make some bread and we're going to have a little taste of this later. So this is anywhere between 3 days to 7 days to 2 weeks if you wanted. The rule of thumb, I'd go by maybe 3 to 10 days. Depends on how strong you want the lilac infused in the honey. The lesser you have, the weaker the lilac taste. Now what you want to do is keep the date on there so you remember how many days you're going to rock it in. I wound up doing 10 days. You want to flip the jar 3 times a day. Each time the flowers will rotate up and it'll all infuse and work together. Now this is from the 23rd. So I'm just grabbing another mason jar and some cheesecloth. You can see how the flowers have infused into the honey. It smells divine. Using the lid, taking the top off and just using the screw lid to help hold down my cheesecloth if you don't have an elastic band. It's my favorite way. And slowly pour it out. It's going to take a little bit longer for the honey to drip down with the flowers. Look at that. Oh, it looks so good. I can't wait to try it out. Okay, so now that you've patiently waited for it to drip down, now there's still more honey to get out. You want to wring out that cheesecloth. Get messy, get into it, have some fun, because there's still a lot more in the cloth. It smells like wild honey. I can't get over it. It smells like it's made with like wild sweet flowers. Keeping track when I put it together. So June 4th is when I harvest out the flowers. Rocking in some fresh bread we made today. Oh, I can't wait to try. I can't wait to try this honey. Gotta get some butter on there. That's right. Now going in for the lilac honey. I have never tried lilac honey before, so I'm really excited. Ooh, I'm dripping it all over. So I find that it actually thinned out the honey. It actually was quite thick honey I had before, but you can see I didn't realize it was going to be thinner, so I'm like getting it all over the place, but that's okay. Trying out a bite. It is so tasty. Oh my goodness, you have to try it. It is so good. Okay, let's get back to our oil here. We're going to use the same technique here, cheesecloth, grabbing a clean, fresh mason jar. You want to make sure if you just wash it that it is so dry. You do not want any little bit of water or moisture inside before you put your oil in. You don't want anything to go bad on you. And you can see the infusement here. It's gone a little browner, but it has done its job. So no coloration in with this oil, not like my plantain salve that had the green tinge, and when I made the dandelion salve it had the bright yellow, canary yellow. And this one had no color. It did not change the sunflower oil at all, the color in the oil. Which, you know, sometimes you hope you get a little extra color, but that's okay. So after it's all cooled down, you can wring out the cheesecloth as well to get more oil. after I've let that cool down, you can hit that. And I really wouldn't put this in the compost because it's just, I would just let it go to the garbage. It kind of smells like cookies. Now this one I add a little bit of food coloring here, some lavender food coloring I got from Michael's craft store, and it will turn lilac when it cools down. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 ounces of beeswax. I wound up, this is going to be 2 ounces of beeswax for the salve and 4 ounces of beeswax for the perfume. So I have the same consistent jar that I use of my beeswax pellets. Now I got these ones were more of a cosmetic grade, so I can use it as on my skin. I'm super sensitive, so I thought I'd kind of get the best. And then just to make sure I have no worries. You can get whatever kind that you like. Any beeswax pellets will do to make your salve and your perfumes. This one I'm going to make a perfume, so I'm going to go with more wax to make a thinner base, more concentrated base. Next, we're going to take our oil and our beeswax, and that's what the oil looked like before. I've saved some of the infused oil. And this one, now we're going to heat them both up to the same temperature. So while the wax is melting, our oil is going to come back up. So while I'm waiting for that to do their thing, I'm going to grab these little 1 ounce canisters. I found them on Amazon. And I have a small little mason jar you can use for your salve, a larger one, but whatever I have left, I'll pour it into that. For this is my first batch of lilac perfume I've ever made. So our wax is all ready to go and beautiful as ever. I decided to go with a white beeswax, so whatever colors naturally come through with the plants and flowers I use, I hope will be shown off a little bit more than getting the golden beeswax. Pouring that in together, we're going to mix that up. Now I do not have lilac essential oil, but I have this lovely lavender. For this scent is so fine. I'm going to be adding some lavender to this one. So this is going to be a wonderful feel-good mixture. A little bit of anti-anxiety, a little bit of stress relief, a little help you go to sleep. Even just a help of feel good throughout the day. It is a mild fragrance. And these 2 flowers combined together are a lovely combination, and it is not powerful and overpowering at all. Now my jar is still quite hot, so I'm using oven mitts here. And because they're about a 1 ounce container, they will not take long at all to cool. You're probably looking at anywhere but to about a 15-20 minutes till they're cooled down. I love myself a time lapse, so I just showed how the colors were changing, how things were moving along here. I think it looks so cool how it's changing. Yeah! I don't know, this is one of my favorite parts to watch. And now you can see the lovely lilac color coming through. It is so pretty. These lilacs are such a delicate, beautiful creature to use, and they are a rare gift for such a short period of time. Here's my little 1 ounce perfume containers. I've given them all away to all my friends and enjoyed, and I would love to make more next year. Next up, what we're going to make is some moon water. some lilac moon water. Enjoying ourselves on the strawberry moon. I had the pleasure of the day before picking lilacs in my aunt's acreage. So I have the deep magenta flower, and I have the lilac flower, and I have the white flower as well. Now the different color coordinations of the lilac flowers and the symbolism are as follows. The white represents purity and innocence versus the violet is spirituality. The blue represents happiness and tranquility. The magenta is for love and passion. And the lilac, for the color which the flower is named, is a light purple that symbolizes first love. Although various colors of the lilac have different meanings, and the lilac has always a strong association with love and romance through history. Using lilacs to infuse your moon water. Collect that moon water. Store it in a small spritz bottle. Spritz it on yourself. Spritz it on your altar items. If you need a little power up of some glamour magic or some empowerment and some spring energy, and even in the winter months, this would be a wonderful flower for you to be in touch with and in tune with. Thank you so very much for chilling out with me today. Throw me down in the comments below what you use your lilac flower for. Take care and have yourself an absolutely magical day.